Hello there. For the next half hour, I'll bring you a brief of the current political stories in the country. Our top stories today are Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice wants Electoral Commission to have a robust system in place that will ensure that all Ghanaians are successfully registered in its exercise commencing next Tuesday.
To provide backups to deal with potential challenges that may be posed by faulty DMVs. The whole essence is not to disenfranchise eligible voters.
Though he believes the Electoral Commission has allowed itself to become a tool for government to implement a diabolic agenda, former President Mahama urges Ghanaians to participate in the upcoming voter registration.
To the few who have passports and Ghana cards, please make use of them and register. And to those who get the opportunity to register, I implore you to assist your brothers, your sisters, and compatriots by guaranteeing for them.
The question, though, is how prepared are you?
Well, actually, I'll be waiting on either my dad or my mom to go and then register. So when they do, maybe then the next day I might also register as well.
Registration,
Well, Member of Parliament for Anyaso Utum Shirley Ayokoboche calls for policies and legislation to promote women's participation in governance.
We must make a conscious effort not to neglect the issues of women in these challenging times. Indeed, our policy responses must take into account the multiple benefits to society when we mainstream women issues.
We're live in our studio here at Kokomlemle in Accra, live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is Election Brief on your election headquarters. My name is Mama Vio Swabwaji. Stay with us. Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice is urging Ghana's Electoral Commission to have an effective backup system in place to ensure it registers all eligible Ghanaians. The Commission argues the EC in the past has been constrained with faulty equipment that has slowed down registration and the voting process. Speaking at a forum organized by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, Commissioner Joseph Whittal says a robust registration and voting system that is inclusive is the only way of avoiding conflict.
There is a need for the EC to build consensus on key electoral issues of concern using the human rights-based approach. If you visit, you read the African Union Election Observer Mission report, you see that clearly recommended to the state of Ghana. It says it recommends that the EC put in place a strategy to give more access to the EC's decision-making process and formalization of the existing IPAC as regular platforms for building consensus on issues of concern. This will strengthen participation and consensus building with the major political stakeholders. There have been issues with IPAC. These issues are not political. They are human rights issues. It's about participation and consensus building. If we have a system that has worked in the past, we should look at how we can strengthen that system. Because that is the way to go, learning the lessons of the past. Now, again, EC should provide backups to deal with potential challenges that may be posed by faulty DMVs. The whole essence is not to disenfranchise eligible voters, maybe starting with the registration and later on at polling stations in the main elections.
Joseph Whittal also says the Commission must understand the Supreme Court's decision on the new register and act lawfully.
In the context of the COVID-19, while mindful of the need to protect the right to health and public safety, EC and law enforcement officials should be circumspect in the exercise of their discretionary power, taking into account Articles 23 and 296. Indeed, yesterday's decision actually fell on the power of the EC to use its discretion within the law. That is the actual basis for the decision. And once they have used their discretion rightfully, the court had no problem. The caution is, how do you straddle between using your discretion lawfully and unlawfully? That's the challenge that EC needs to remind us.
Well, the Electoral Commission has been reacting to these concerns. My colleague Joseph Akable joins us with more. Joseph, what's the Commission's response to the call for a robust system?
Made the point that indeed since the 2012 election and the directive that came out, they were asked to do some more recruitment and get appropriate equipment in place. And they said that is what they have been doing so far. And so the EC is better equipped than it was in the previous elections. And they are assuring that by 2020, that is in December when the election comes off, they would have better equipment and they'll be able to deliver a credible election. An acting director of the commission, Mr. Alexander Akutia, represented the commission in this particular engagement.
And Joseph, we know concerns have been raised about having a credible elections. What did the commission say?
The commission says it is boosted by the decision that has come from the Supreme Court, in that the decision has given it a green light to go ahead with the process. And so what they are doing now is that they are going to first ensure that they compile a credible register, which they consider very key to ensure that the process is trusted by all parties. And they will afford each person the opportunity to register as spelled out in CI 126. And they are confident that at the end of the day, the results that they will churn out to be one that all actors, including the various political parties, some of whom have been very hard on the commission, they would all agree with the results.
And Joseph, you also spoke to him about the issue of mistrusts.
Yes, he says it's a bit polarized now. A lot of people don't seem to trust the commission, but the commission is an independent body that must be allowed to do its work. We can take a listen.
Election management is a huge task, and it is very complex. And why is it complex? Because the players like the political parties, the voters, the staff of the Electoral Commission itself, civil society, they all have their expectations and interests which may not be the same. And the Electoral Commission will need to manage all these things to make sure that people or the ordinary man is able to do what? To cast his or her vote. So effective election management, simply put, is just, we can say that it's a successful election, and a successful election is an election that is free and fair. And when we talk about the freeness of the elections, we are talking about the people enjoying their what? The fundamental human rights, so that they can carry out their electoral activities peacefully. And we are also saying that the election environment should be free from intimidation and other things that will not make it possible for people to have the equal right or have the equality of weight of votes. So one, people should enjoy their fundamental human rights. Two, the context, the environment with which the election is conducted should also be free from all those things. And when we say fair, we are talking about the application of the law. The Electoral Commission should be fair in applying the electoral laws, and so also the judiciary should also be fair in applying the electoral laws. In so doing, then there's no discrimination. In so doing, there's no discrimination. And we have to take note that every election is unique. Unique in the sense that the context within which an election is conducted is ever what? Changing. because of the social, economic, and the political underpinnings. So election management is not a joke, and 2020 is not going to be like 2016, it's not going to be like 2012, because the variables now, some will be there, but others will be added. So the dimension and the perspectives will change. If we take, for instance, the COVID has brought a new dimension into our whole lives, including the conduct of what? Elections.
Now, the flag bearer of Ghana's largest opposition party, John Dramani Mahama, is urging Ghanaians to participate in the upcoming voters' registration exercise in their numbers. A Supreme Court decision yesterday means that the current voter ID card will not be accepted in the registration. Despite his disappointment at the decision, Mr. Mahama late last night said Ghanaians with a Ghana card and passport should not stay away from the exercise.
We must always be willing to hold leaders accountable for bad decisions that impose difficulties on our citizens. And this is one such clear opportunity to do so. Do not let the several hours you may spend at the registration center get you to surrender your right to vote. If you do so, that will only embolden those who seek to disenfranchise you. To the few who have passports and Ghana cards, please make use of them and register. And to those who get the opportunity to register, I implore you to assist your brothers, your sisters, and compatriots by guaranteeing for them, even if it takes a bit more of your time. Please see this as a civic duty and your contribution to the efforts to preserve the right to vote. This way, we will undo the grand conspiracy to deprive us of the inalienable right to vote, and we will, in the process, send a clear signal that it is only we, the people, who will decide who gets the opportunity to lead this country, and not governments we elect or state agencies who make themselves pliant accomplices in their attempt to disenfranchise us.
So we ask, are you prepared to register? Here are the views of some Ghanaians on the streets of Accra.
Now that everything is set, I'm ready to register, so I will urge everybody who has a Ghana card and other necessary documents should also go and register, because that will make you valid register. Yeah.
But yourself, do you have the Ghana card?
I have a Ghana card.
Okay. So when are you looking forward to go register?
As soon as they open, then I will just have a day and then go and register.
Well, I used to have my Ghana card, but then it got lost with my wallet. So as of now, unless someone goes and guarantee for me that after he or she has registered, then I can also register for it. Well, actually, I'll be waiting on either my dad or my mom to go and then register. So when they do, maybe then the next day I might also register as well.
I have the Ghana card and I'm ready to go and then, go process my whatever, like the voters register the card, and then I hope everything is gonna go smoothly and we're gonna have a peaceful, kind of registration. Yeah, that is all I can say.
I have both documents, both the national ID and also a passport. So it is easier for me to register, and I can also guarantee for other people. I want to use this opportunity to encourage every Ghanaian to go and register, because it's a national assignment. And for that matter, it is very important for every responsible citizen to participate in the registration exercise. Thank you.
Registration, the mayor, no judgment in the Mammy. If maybe I had drawn in pain for a trip, I have one consider you maybe. Why shall I be? Oh, we are really in pain for the brain, Akason. Oh, may I in particular, I mean, a trimano, not that Chelsea, because in this year, don't call on future no diago. In Tinkamedia in the Papamono, in Camesras and Pain for San Yubio. na dada na ye do to abana nka ye mfanto because and say she secretary dia ye kofa e dia akoye say adwuma bio o man so yin sika de bo no bla na ye di sa nyoma nyina be ye ya e sika say ntimi dia madwum kwa ne dia nka ye dada na ye adwuma nka be bo man because ya re ya ba ye san akotentam so na ya bo apreso ni ade yesu ye bibi.
We go to the Ashanti region now, or we stay in Accra before we go to the Ashanti region. Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame says the Electoral Commission will no longer face any legal impediment preventing it from registering Ghanaians on Tuesday. 2 cases against the EC's exercise were dismissed yesterday, with the court holding that the existing voter's ID card cannot be used for registration. There is, however, 1 case filed by NDC MP Ernest Nogbe, which is pending at an Accra High Court and due Monday. Mr. Dami says his office will be urging the court to dismiss that case as well, maintaining the Supreme Court extensively dealt with the issues the MP is asking the court to address.
Yes, so it says by this commission, second defendant is hereby directed to commence the compulsory voter registration as scheduled. Then by these decisions as well, they proceeded that any court in which same or similar action is pending or yet to be filed shall apply the decision rendered by the Supreme Court in these cases. So no court has the option of electing whether to comply or obey this ruling. The Supreme Court has ordered an exercise of its powers over all lower courts in the country, that this decision is a final decision on the matter and must be complied with by the court.
We know they had filed for an injunction which they are supposed to move on Monday, so it means that Monday they will have to go for that. You have to go and argue that injunction before the court and ask them to abide by the decision of the apex court, or it will place automatically they are not going to have a hearing at all.
Yeah, so this decision will be brought to the attention of the High Court, and the High Court will make an order accordingly, dismissing in essence all the reliefs sought. All the reliefs sought are also in the nature of the reliefs that, or similar to the reliefs that were being claimed in the Supreme Court. So the court will not have to hear an injunction and then come back and hear the substantive suit. The presiding judge would definitely, in accordance with this ruling, proceed to issue the necessary orders, which will be on all fours as the instant action.
But going for a judicial review, is it not fair that they are allowed the courts to just take a look at the process leading to the decision to compile the register, which is what normally judicial review looks at, as against the interpretation and enforcement which has been carried out by the Supreme Court?
Now, the Supreme Court, under Article 129 of the Constitution, has the power to exercise all powers vested in any court at all. That we call it the residual jurisdiction, the residual power of the Supreme Court. They can exercise all powers that are lawfully vested in any court or tribunal in the country. So the Supreme Court, in exercise of the powers conferred on it by the Constitution under Article 129, has made these consequential orders, and all courts are supposed to comply. I think the essence is quite clear that there ought to be order in the administration of justice. There cannot be a situation where the Supreme Court has taken its time to adjudicate on this matter, made orders which are binding on the NDC and all citizens, and then another citizen will be prosecuting another matter in the lower court. So for the sake of ensuring order and an efficient administration of justice, the Supreme Court has exercised its powers under Article 129 and made these orders, and all courts will be required to comply.
You're still on the election brief. Now, President Akufo-Addo has met with all losing candidates in the New Patriotic Party's just-ended parliamentary primaries to appeal to them to continue to support the party's 2020 re-election campaign. The meeting took place as part of efforts by a reconciliation committee chaired by Chief of Staff Akosua Frem-Osei-Opare to repair relationships between the various candidates and present a united front for the main election. The run-up to the party's primary saw some candidates threaten to run independent amid complaints they were being frustrated out of the race. National organizer of the party, Samia Uko, however, says efforts are being made to correct the erroneous impression.
And for us as a party, we've activated a reconciliation wing chaired by Madam Chief of Staff. I can also confidently tell you that His Excellency the President met all those defeated aspirants, our members of Parliament who lost their bid over the weekend. He's met all of them. He met them last night, and also once again to encourage them, to cheer them up and let them know that, look, let's rededicate ourselves. Once we are in this enterprise together, your expertise will be needed, and where we need to also help, support and push you, the party will be willing to also do that.
I just read coming in that in Bekwai, the one who lost to Jose Wusu would want to go independent.
Well, we haven't been officially notified, but once those rumors are out there, we will also take steps to engage each and everyone. It's a healing process. It might not take 24 hours to do that. It might be slow, but we'll definitely get there. So sometimes there's that temptation when emotions are high, when you feel that, no, you should have been treated this way, but you ended up being treated that way. It's incumbent on us as a political party and its leadership to ensure that we mend the cracks and calmness, and also assure even those who lost that we are in this together.
Well, still with the NPP, the party's National Council will meet Saturday to acclaim President Akufo-Addo as their presidential candidate for the December election. Ms. Ewuku cautioned party members that the meeting was only open to council members.
Let me use this platform to properly make it clear that the tomorrow National Council meeting, which will acclaim the presidential candidate and the running mate, strictly, if you are not a member of the National Council, please don't come. And we have members of the National Council clearly stated here. The National Council of the party, per Article 10 of the NPP's constitution, it includes voting members of the National Executive Committee, 20 members of Parliament chosen by the party's parliamentary group, regional representatives, the past national chairpersons, past general secretaries, past president, past vice president, past presidential candidate, past running mate, the president if you are in government, vice president if you are in government, the presidential candidate and the presidential running mate. These are members of the National Council. Please, this is not the time to show that you're a big man in our party. We need to go strictly by the protocols, and that is ensuring that we don't have more than 100 people. The National Council in its setup is just around 92 to 95.
So if you have a few more people coming in.
We don't want to have few more people coming in. And people will be assigned their seats. Please don't come and be embarrassed if you don't qualify under Article 10 of the NPP's constitution. And the whole world will be watching us, and we don't expect to make the headlines for the wrong reasons on Joy Prime. So that is why we are asking that people should also assist us to make this process smooth. And we are going to enforce this. We've tasked the security agencies that we've also asked them to help
to make sure
the process of gathering. To make sure that anybody coming in, you have this your tag. Today, the party will have its National Executive Committee. All those who are expected to be there tomorrow will be issued with their accreditation. We expect that the media too will bear with us.
Well, news just in, leadership of Parliament has granted a request by the minority to take off Tuesday to allow members of Parliament monitor and participate in the upcoming voters registration exercise in their constituencies. The much anticipated voters registration by the Electoral Commission is slated for 30th of June. Ahead of the exercise, the minority leader Haruna Idrissa requested for 2 days off to enable MPs prepare for the exercise, and that has been granted. Region. Member of Parliament for Kwadaso, Dr. Samiu Kwejunyama, and the man who defeated him in the NPP primaries are jointly targeting to win 90% of votes for the party in the December polls. They will only need 1% points above the 89% the NPP recorded back in 2016 to achieve the target. Dr. Nyama spoke to Joynews at the residence of the victorious Dr. Kingsley Nyako on a visit to congratulate him. Here's Nanaya Jima with more.
In his victory on Wednesday's postponed constituency election, over a disputed delegates list, Dr. Nyako called for support from his 2 defeated colleagues and their supporters.
I'm convinced and persuaded that it me at the helm of affairs with support from my other competitors, Dr. S.K. Nyama and Mr. Mr. Menu, we will be able to work together in unity and in peace for the benefit of the constituents, the benefits of the region, and for the benefit of the nation.
Concession of defeat and congratulations from defeated candidates to winners over the phone may be a common practice, but it takes genuine love to step out to an opponent's home to do so. That's how Dr. Nyama decided to go about it. In a show of political maturity, together with key members of his campaign team. In short, he responded to call for unity to keep the governing party in power.
If we want to work together, if we want to project the party in the constituency, if we want to ensure Nana Dwako Akufo-Addo wins again, then it's better we close our ranks and forget about the past and forge ahead and build a strong force going forward in the elections.
Well, a show of maturity indeed. We hope others can learn. Just before we go, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayokoboche, says there is a need for intensified advocacy for women's participation in governance and politics, regardless of the strides that has been made worldwide over the years. In Ghana, currently female representation in Parliament stands at 38. Other sectors have witnessed a substantial number of women appointed in key positions. However, Shirley Ayokoboche is calling for more attention to be given to policies and legislation that promote and encourage more women to be involved in high-profile positions. She added that there is a need for more women to advance and go beyond small-scale initiatives. She spoke at her office during a virtual conference on African women in politics.
When Ghana attained Republican status, the representation of the People's Bill was passed and 10 women were elected, unopposed, to the Parliament of Ghana. Since then, the number of female representation in Parliament has increased steadily and currently stands at 38. Several women are currently occupying key positions, such as my good self, also the Chief of Staff at the Presidency, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, as well as the Chairperson of our Electoral Commission. These modest achievements by our women have proven that when giving opportunities as our male counterparts, we are capable of leading and driving the change that we all desire. Various legislations and policies have been enacted to further this course.
And that's it for Election Brief today. Indeed, that will be it for the week. We thank you for your company on behalf of the production team. I'd like to say happy birthday to the ever hard-working producer of the show, Sayram Francisca Abla de Souza. Enjoy the week. Please stay safe. Make sure you rest and eat healthy. I'll see you soon.